New Year's Day, and so we got a couple weeks to do that. So let's take some time to talk about the 2018 college football preview. We'll start with the Cure Bowl, Tulane versus Louisiana. Obviously, if you're not part of the national fan base, that's probably not the school that you're following. But Tulane is making his first bowl appearance since 2013. Coincidentally, it lost to in the New Orleans Bowl that year to Louisiana. So we'll start with you, Matt. Tulane and Louisiana on December 15th. That's today. So we start our bowl games today. Go ahead.
I remember when my colleague with WSBT, Tom Noy, said that Tulane was going into the American Athletic Conference, and they've been over their heads since then. I mean, it's great to see them get to a bowl game, but I still think they are a mid-major team in a conference that's over their head. I think this will be a close game, and hopefully my good buddy in Louisiana, J.C. Russo, who's alma mater is the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, can find a way to win this ball game. I'm picking Louisiana, just based on that.
Rick?
Yeah, I'm just going to take Tulane here because I think, Matt, and maybe you can correct me, but these past 2 years for Tulane football has kind of just been a resurgence. I think they've had some, I know this year anyway, put together a really good year, and I like what I see from Tulane. I'm just going to take Tulane in this game because of the resurgence that they've had in that football program.
Guys, also today in the New Mexico Bowl, North Texas 9-3 versus Utah State 10-2. Regardless of who's coaching these teams, this gives us gives them both a good opportunity to conclude to end their season strong with a win. I'm sorry, I cannot talk today. So what are your thoughts? We'll start with you. My prediction, I think Utah State will win this game over North Texas. But what are your thoughts, Matt? What are on the New Mexico Bowl today?
Utah State was nationally ranked. North Texas was not. Utah State did take on a little bit tougher of a schedule compared to North Texas. Utah State wins this game big.
Rick?
Yeah, I'm going to take the female approach to this, honestly, because I just took Tulane, which is the green wave, and North Texas, the mean green. And green is my favorite color, so therefore I'm taking North Texas.
Watch the female jokes. I know we have some female listeners.
We just don't get along, folks. It's okay.
All right, guys. Las Vegas Bowl. Fresno State versus Arizona State. This is an interesting matchup. Always fun to see a Pac-12 and a Mountain West matchup where little guys try to take down the big boys. David and Goliath story. Certainly that's one of the stories today. Fresno State easily handles Arizona State, Matthew.
I want to call it a David Goliath matchup. I think this is an Arizona State team that has underachieved this year. They have a chance, I think, coming into this year to beat a bunch of teams in the Pac-12, and they didn't do it. Fresno State had a chance against a couple teams in the Mountain West, couldn't take advantage of it either. But I think in this one, I think Fresno finds a way to get the victory.
Ricker.
Yeah, I think it's been really impressive what Herm Edwards has come in and done with Arizona State, because at the beginning of the season, everybody was like, why would they hire Herm Edwards? He hasn't coached him forever. This is not a good fit at all. And as it turns out, Herm Edwards has been great at Arizona State. And for that, I think Herm Edwards finds a way to get it done, and I think Arizona State gets the win today.
I'm going to see an upset today on this next game on the Camellia Bowl, Georgia Southern versus
Camellia Bowl?
Thanks, Matthew. I appreciate that. Camellia Bowl. See, the words were all disguised there. I couldn't see the letters right. Eastern Michigan, guys, I mean, this is going to be the upset. Eastern Michigan's going to beat Georgia Southern. Eastern Michigan made quite the plea to earn a bowl bid. They proved worthy of an invite by winning at Purdue and losing at San Diego in overtime. But Georgia Southern, meanwhile, is making its second bowl game. A lot of people think that Georgia Southern is the favorite here, but I think we're going to see an upset. What do you think, Eastern Michigan versus Georgia Southern?
Eastern Michigan took advantage of a Purdue team that looked absolutely pathetic in week number 2. I mean, it was not the same Purdue team, that demolished Ohio State. Georgia Southern, I think, has been a little more consistent, even though, yes, they are in the Sun Belt Conference. I think this is a team that has a little bit more top to bottom than Eastern Michigan can provide. And add to that, they talk about Notre Dame having problems with beating Ball State. Eastern Michigan had their problems beating Ball State as well. So going by that, I'm taking Georgia Southern.
Rick, I know you never agree with me, but you got to agree with me here. Go ahead.
I will take Eastern Michigan here only because of Maction, baby. I love the MAC conference, So, Maction, I'm taking Eastern Michigan.
Guys, the New Orleans Bowl tonight in the late game, Middle Tennessee at Appalachian State. Don't we still love Appalachian State? Don't we still love them because of what they were able to do in Michigan so long ago? We still remember Appalachian State for that. Oh, man, that's just fun. That's just fun old school talk there. But I honestly do think Appalachian State's going to win this, Matt.
I agree with you there. I think Middle Tennessee State, the Conference USA for some reason is grossly overrated by a lot of people, and I don't understand why. You look at their record, and they just have not, every time they've taken a step up, they've struggled. While Appalachian State in their non-conference games were competitive, I think that's enough for me to take the Mountaineers in this contest for another win for a school that I think even though, it's almost, 10 years now since they beat Michigan, but even despite that, they've been able to ride the momentum even since they made the move up to the FBS level. And even though, they're never going to win a national championship, mind you, in the FBS level, they still could be competitive, and I think today will show that.
Rick, Appalachian State wins today is not going to be like the historical win over Michigan, but what are your thoughts?
I agree with both of you here, and it is crazy how when you think of Appalachian State, you just think of that one program win, right, against Michigan, when really last year they had Tennessee in overtime. They could have beat Tennessee on the road. I love the program. I love they made the step up to the FBS level. I'm taking Appalachian State here.
We've wrapped up our bowl games for today, so we'll see what happens, and we'll continue to break down some of these other bowl games as they come around. But a couple more games: Boca Raton Bowl, UAB versus Northern Illinois. UAB didn't even have a football program. Now it's going to its second straight bowl. Because of that, I like UAB. Go ahead, Matt.
Like I said with Middle Tennessee State, I think Conference USA is grossly overrated. I'm pulling the upset. Northern Illinois is going to win this game.
Woo! You heard it there. Hot take, Rick. Hot take.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him here, too. Like I said, Maction, baby. I love the MAC. So I'm going to take Northern Illinois here. We have a lot of high school football talent here where I'm from in Evansville anyway. They actually gets recruited, and they actually attend and play football at Northern Illinois. So it's got a little Northern Illinois here kind of has like a little bit of a hometown flavor in a way. So I'm taking Northern Illinois, even though I love UAB and what they've done with that football program these last 2 years, getting the things turned around, being a competitor again after not having a football program at all.
Guys, we got the Frisco Bowl. You didn't know Ohio's playing in two bowls, did you? The other Ohio, not the Ohio State.
Athens, Ohio, yes.
Yeah. San Diego State versus Ohio. San Diego State, they have shown some limps along the way, but I think San Diego State still has what they could do to get it done. I know this is probably going to be a very, very close game, and they're not going to win by much if not a field goal, but San Diego State manages to beat the other Ohio. Go ahead, Matt.
Question in my mind right now is where is San Diego State's head right now? Because they had a chance to really do some damage in the Mountain West. They lost a couple of big games late. I wonder where their head is for this game. And if they come in flat, Ohio's got a chance. But I think San Diego State's going to win a game that's going to be closer than a lot of people think it's going to be.
Rick?
Yeah, and I'm going to pick against Maction here. Actually, I'm going to take San Diego State, too. For some reason, these last several years, San Diego State has been running back you. I'm with Matt. I don't know what they've done this year. They've had their shot. They fell apart. But I think they get it done in the bowl game and finish the year with the bowl win.
Are you making up words? Maction action? Is that what you say? Maction
no,
action?
Sir.
That's been there for years. I think that even dates back to the 80s.
Yeah.
See, I got to get on the word game. Gasparilla Bowl, Marshall versus South Florida. I know we're getting into the weeds with some of these games, but hey, we got to give them credit to get into a bowl game. I'm going to go with Marshall on this one. Really do think that they're a stronger, more dominant team, and they've obviously proven themselves in their conference that they can handle this bowl game. I don't know that there's a lot to talk about here. I think this is a Marshall game all day long, every day. But, Matt, you may disagree with me. Go ahead.
Still can't go over the fact that at one point in time, USF was the number 2 team in the country in the national polls. That just doesn't make any sense to me, but somehow they were. In this one, I think the Thundering Herd find a way to get the job done. Another win for the MAC.
Maction. What is it? Mac Action? Mac Action? I want to get on that. I want to get that train. Mac Action? Is that what? Maction. All right. I'm gonna make that my word of the day. Maction. All right. Let's go.
Here's another thing that'll blow your mind is when you got these late games in the Pac-12. That's called Pac-12 After Dark.
That I did know.
I thought it was Poker After Dark.
What is it? Poker?
Yeah, that's Poker we're referring to.
Guys,
for
don't
NBC.
talk about Poker After Dark here. This is a family show. It's a family show, Rick. Come on, don't talk about Poker After Dark. We digress.
You see how they misunderstand me, folks?
Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I'm going to take South Florida in this. The thing with South Florida is Charlie Strong has kind of entered that conference with that team at the time of the rise of UCF. So that has nothing to do with this game whatsoever. I'm just going to take USF.
Guys, I love this next game just because it's in the Bahamas on December the 21st. Who would not want to be in the Bahamas on December 21st? Might as well just stay there over Christmas. Butch Davis, though, Rick, and I'm going to go to you first on this because we like to talk about coaches. Butch Davis is a coach that should not be coaching FIU. Not the Bahamas, but to a bowl game at the Bahamas Bowl. FIU versus Toledo. Not a lot to talk about here, but Butch Davis should be having a much better coaching job than he does at FIU. But he is at FIU, and he's making the most of it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and it's another team, another game with the word Maxon we can use here. I will take FIU in this because of Butch Davis. So, I think he's going to get his career turned around, and FIU is a great place to do it.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you think would get an opportunity. I don't want to say that better opportunity. That makes it sound like FIU is a bad school. It's not a bad school, but he
bad at Tennessee, So
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, and the way that they let him flop around like a dying fish. It was just amazing, and that I guess you could say fall from fall from victory or whatever they say. Matt, what are your thoughts? Butch Davis and FIU taking on Toledo in the Bahamas.
Toledo.
Woo! Another hot take. Are you just going to let us hang there?
I can go on and on about the problems with Butch Davis, but I'll just say Toledo, and we'll just go on to the next game. Just go to the next game.
We'll just go to the next game. All right, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Western Michigan versus BYU. Guys, you got to look at these two teams as two pretty good teams. This is be a good matchup. I go with BYU. Matt, what say you?
Rick, you heard a couple of the people saying that Notre Dame in their off week, they should have played BYU. Is that a viable claim that they should have to have the two independents play each other in the semi-championship games so that people shut up about them not having to play the last week?
Well, Matt, we talked about that earlier on in the show. The built-in loss, air quotes. Go ahead.
Matt, I'll ask you this because I asked Tom this right before you came on. For this 13th game that Notre Dame does not play, BYU would probably make the most sense. But also, if you look at Alabama and Clemson and Georgia, there's an FCS team on the schedule. It's an automatic built-in win. Would people complain if Notre Dame scheduled an FCS school during that college, the conference championship week? would that be sufficient enough and people will stop crying about Notre Dame only playing 12 games? Because we see these elite programs schedule an automatic win.